What's up, YouTube? It's St. Patrick, and today I want to talk about my favorite manga. I got five favorites. I mean, I got more favorites, but these are the ones I feel that's in my top five. I'm not gonna talk about them this whole video because that would take way too long. Probably just talk about one at a time. And the first one I want to talk about is One Piece. Now, I know that's, my favorite and a lot of other people's favorites. It's the number one selling manga of all time, so it's doing something right. And the reason why it's in my top five is because I think everything in it is good to great. It has potential to be like the GOAT manga, depending on how it ends. It might not, I'm not saying it would, but it might not end on a good note. We've seen that before with other manga, but for right now, it's, steadily consistent. And it's one of my favorites because the story is good. It's about Luffy, trying to find One Piece, and on the way, he finds his crew, see other characters, the setting, we go through his whole story, and other characters such as the Straw Hats, the Yonko, the Warlords, all of them are pretty memorable, good characters written, and I think Oda does a good job of, writing them. And another reason I like the story is, like I said, characters, they're memorable. Back to the story, it's a story that it gets you hooked in, it gets you attached to the story. I'm not one of those, emotional guys who be like tearing up at certain scenes, but it gets you there. We see fights and stuff between the crew, fights and stuff, with other people, and I think they get you pretty hooked. And another thing I like about it is, the setting. It's about pirates on one end, and then you got Marines on the other. It takes place, a lot of times on the water, on the sea. Straw Hats got their own ship and whatever. And the whole setting is, pretty good. We see them travel through harsh weathers. We see them go into town, see, different areas of the world. And I think One Piece does a real good job of that. Another thing is the abilities in the story. Now, they use what's called devil fruits. Not everybody uses devil fruits, but that's the name of the abilities for people that use them. And the way they're written is they're pretty interesting to see used in fights. The main character, Luffy, he ate a fruit that can, stretch his body. He's a rubber man. And just to see him go from, what he was at the beginning to what he is now, it's nothing short of just creativity from the author. You would think just being rubber is pretty much stretching the body part and hitting it. But, we see, him using rubber to give him speed, give him power, to just a whole bunch of different applicants. And we see that with other characters too, who got different devil fruits. And then if you don't have a devil fruit, you got swordsmen, and then you also have another thing called hockey, which it puts you on the same level of people who use devil fruits. Another interesting thing about devil fruits is that they become hammers, and when you're a hammer, you can't swim. You can't be in the water. It's your weakness. So that's another cool thing. Like, you got pirates on the sea who can't even fall in the sea, or else they'll, die and drown. And that's why I think, some crews probably don't have everybody being a devil fruit, having a devil fruit, because you need some people that can swim, which is what happens to Luffy occasionally. He'll do something stupid and go out in the water and start drowning, and somebody in the crew have to save him. Another thing I like about it is, this is a big thing, is the consistency. And we see it in manga a lot. We see stuff like manga going on hiatus. We see manga taking a break due to the author getting sick. And I think some of us take for granted how consistent One Piece is. It's been out for probably about 20 years. and there's never really been a big break from when I've been reading it. The longest break was a month, and I think that was just from one time skip to the next. And then you have like your little normal week breaks or 2 week breaks. But other than that, there's never been just a huge break, and that's just one of the amazing things that for something to be out for 20 years, you're just constantly putting out stuff. It's different from comics who got different authors. You got one author constantly working on the story, and that's just something I think people take for granted. Another thing is, like I said, it's 20 years old, and we got about 900 chapters in, and there's still so much story to be told, and it still gets you hooked in, all these years later. Like, we don't know all the characters. There's still stuff we haven't seen yet. And, for it to be running this long, it's, amazing that it can still get you hype after so long. Another thing is, it doesn't feel like it's a cash cow franchise. I mean, he's making money, it's popular, but it doesn't feel like he's making it just for the sake of getting a little quick cash grab, and it doesn't feel like he's just making, something to just make the story stretch, because Luffy still hasn't found One Piece, and, it's still just a whole lot to be told. I know that's one criticism is one thing people don't like it or they won't get into it is because it's long, but I feel like, if you don't like something just for being long, that just seems like a little poor excuse to not get into something. Because, if you can find time, you can really catch up in a few months. I know watching it is different, but, if you can read 10 chapters a day, you can easily catch up to the story in a few months. And then, 10, 15 chapters, even, more chapters you read, the less time it'll take to get caught up. So I think, people they be scared of how long it is. But, in reality, it doesn't take that long. I think I've caught up to longer manga, over the summer, so a few months. So I think if you can actually dedicate some time to it, it's not long. It's not that long as people make it out to be. So yeah, that's just one of the reasons why I like One Piece, why it's my favorite. It does everything just good, and the consistency. I think Full Metal Alchemist is close to a perfect manga you can get, and I only say that because One Piece isn't over yet. But, once it's over, I'll try to decide which of the two is better. And Full Metal Alchemist is also another one of my favorites, which I'll talk about in a different video. But, for now, that's, some of the stuff I like about One Piece. And, hope you enjoyed my reasonings. And hope you guys tune in for, my next topic, manga topic. On that note, peace.